Hello guys, it's Revolution. So on this video we're going to discuss a raging debate amongst the community concerning the previous antagonist from the end of Dragon Ball Super, the Tournament of Power, Jiren the Great of Universe 11. Now, the raging debate mainly concerns who's stronger out of the Dragon Ball Super version of BROLY, from the Dragon Ball Super BROLY movie of course, and Jiren. Now I've done videos concerning who I believe would win in this titanic battle, but one thing that seems to be spreading throughout the community at the moment is the fact that people are saying that Jiren is becoming the old BROLY, and by that what I mean is, well, overrated. Now, that's not me saying this. I believe Jiren's stupendously strong, but what a number of people who are pro BROLY in this particular titanic battle are saying is that there is literally nothing putting Jiren above BROLY, and because of that, just like how old BROLY from the Dragon Ball Z movies and a few statements here and there concerning BROLY's power, some BROLY fans would literally say BROLY is the strongest, even when comparing them to Dragon Ball Super characters. I'm sure you remember the old BROLY-ness claims, and the claims that BROLY's overflowing power meant that he had limitless supplies of power. They would still say that BROLY's the strongest, and now people are reversing this onto Jiren and saying the same about Jiren. Is that really fair to say of the man who competed against Ultra Instinct Goku? So in this video we're going to discuss, is Jiren becoming the old BROLY? Obviously the Dragon Ball Z BROLY. Now I'm not really going to give my opinion on this because I feel like I have done in my verse battles. However, I'm going to put forward everything that the franchise has thrown at us concerning the power of these two, to get a general idea of what the wider franchise thinks. Of course I'm talking about studios such as Shueisha Studios, who own the Jump magazine and so forth, and obviously Bandai Namco, who produced the games, and of course anything from the actual story in the Tournament of Power and the Dragon Ball Super BROLY movie themselves. These are going to all be from official sources. However, the purpose of this video is I want to empower you to make this decision yourself and let me know your reason why, who wins out of these two in terms of not just power but who would win in a fight, down in the comment section. These are multiple sources from multiple different variations of official sources, so it's up to you to decide the weight of these sources. Once again, let me know in the comment section. At the end of the day, as long as we look at all these sources objectively, your opinion and your analysis of these sources is just as valid as mine. But I'll try and present as many sides of the argument as possible to help you come to that conclusion, even at times playing devil's advocate. So let's start off with the line that pretty much got everyone in a craze during the run of Dragon Ball Super in episode 92, when we state there is a universe where lives a mortal even a god of destruction can't defeat. Now a lot of people take this to mean that Jiren is stronger than all 12 gods of destructions. However, we simply said a god of destruction here. He was talking about a singular god of destruction, the god of destruction of the very same universe as that mortal, because he goes on to say that god of destruction happens to be stronger than Beerus-sama, which Beerus then goes on to deny, saying it was only an arm wrestle. Once again, some people take this arm wrestle to be definitive evidence that Belmod is stronger than Beerus. However, in the manga of Dragon Ball Super by Toyo Taro, who also worked on the Gods of Destruction's designs and characters with Toriyama himself, the manga literally downplays the importance of an arm wrestle. However, this time it's with Beerus' arch nemesis, Quintella. But once again, let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section. In the Dragon Ball Super manga, we would also get to see all the Gods of Destructions fight each other at once, with most of them targeting Beerus at the beginning of the fight, and Beerus doing exceptionally well, and of course being one of the last two remaining Gods of Destruction standing, alongside, once again, his arch nemesis Quintella, who states that he expected Beerus to be one of the last ones standing. Of course, Belmod seems to be feigning injury, but what is evidently clear in the eyes of Toyo Taro, who created the Gods of Destructions alongside Toriyama, that all the Gods of Destructions are not equal in power. Quintella and Beerus were the last ones standing. We know Beerus is stronger than Champa, and also Belmod didn't need healing at the end, just like the rest of the Gods of Destructions. However, you could flip that and say, why would Belmod need to feign injury if he was truthfully stronger than the rest of them? Of course, in the manga as well, Toppo would directly tell Goku that there is a mortal in his universe by the name of Jiren that is stronger than his god of destruction. It specifically states our god of destruction, referring to once again Belmod or Vermouth. And just to clarify that, even Goku goes on to say, wait, so you're saying this Jiren guy is stronger than the god of destruction of your universe? And Toppo says that's right. So he isn't referring to all gods of destructions. Of course, you could say that Toppo doesn't know the power level of all the other gods of destructions. But to go out of the way in the narrative to determine that it is a singular god of destruction does seem like a very deliberate plot choice. Now, of course, the manga and the anime are separate continuities. They ultimately have the same greater lore. However, they use different plot devices to reach the narrative bullet points and conclusion put forth by Akira Toriyama. Once again, I want you to decide, can you use the manga to subsidize for the anime? And of course that would still be subject to future information in a future anime. Then of course in the anime we get to episode 110 where we hear Shin state that Jiren, during the Genki Dama struggle against Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku, that Jiren's power is beyond anything they've ever faced before, of course referring to merged Zamasu from the previous arc and immortal Potara fusion. And then Whis goes on to say he is the one who has reached that state. Now state is an important word because the word state is used multiple times throughout the Tournament of Power, and he then goes on to say with the camera panning to Belmod, the god of destruction of Universe 11, perhaps even surpassed it. Now the use of the word state is referring to the level of power, the tier of power of a god of destruction. As we've already discussed, in the eyes of Toyo Toro, who developed these characters, the Gods of Destruction's characters, with Akira Toriyama. He has a direct line to Akira Toriyama. The Gods of Destructions aren't all at the same level. Whis also uses vague terming by saying perhaps Jiren has surpassed it, and that Jiren is nowhere near full power yet. So he may be referring to the Gods of Destructions he may have surpassed in terms of their power level, the Gods of Destruction's power level, as being further down the line in the tournament rather than the power being demonstrated right now. But what this did was confirm the rumours from episode 92 true, that there was a mortal a God of Destruction cannot defeat. But on the flip side, it says that it's a mortal a God of Destruction cannot defeat, but it doesn't say that the mortal can defeat the God of Destruction as well. And of course, if we go back to Toppo's statement about Jiren being stronger than the God of Destruction Belmod, he does say, by the way, based on combat skill alone, Jiren is stronger than Belmod. So it does imply that there might be more to it. Now, unfortunately, we don't see a lot from Jiren until he fights again against Goku, Vegeta, Android 17, and Golden Frieza. But he is far too strong for them in their current state at that time until Goku triggers Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3. Now, of course, there were a few times where Jiren got hit before that. The first time we saw was against Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta in episode 122, where Vegeta stated that Jiren's energy was the heaviest he'd ever felt. But then only 3 minutes later, after landing on Jiren, stated that Jiren wasn't even fighting at the same level he was fighting against Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 1 Goku. Then of course Vegeta knocked Jiren down with the final flash. But one thing I must say about that final flash was that Jiren allowed himself to be hit by that final flash, and he still got up embodied Vegeta. And then we also saw Vegeta use a Super Saiyan Blue Evolution final flash in episode 125, which Jiren absolutely tanked using just his eyes. Then of course we had Android 17 actually manage to wound Jiren. Now Android 17 is probably around Super Saiyan Blue level, give or take, but what it proved was if you can catch Jiren off guard, which is no easy feat, then you can hurt him with Super Saiyan Blue level attacks. But as mentioned before, upon igniting Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3, the third iteration of Ultra Instinct Omen we saw in the Tournament of Power, and we know that they kept getting more and more powerful each time he triggered Ultra Instinct Omen. Of course, Jiren can still keep up with this version of Ultra Instinct Omen, especially thanks to his scouting of Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 Goku against Kefla in episode 116. He managed to learn to use Ultra Instinct against Goku. Now it must be noted that Goku was able to block, parry and dodge even Jiren's attacks at this point, so they were somewhat relative. Of course, Goku couldn't fully utilize the power of Ultra Instinct in his attacks because he was still in Ultra Instinct Omen, but Jiren, using his strategic prowess, managed to use Ultra Instinct against Goku and corner him, so there was only a bit of staging beneath Goku and elimination. Of course, that triggered Goku's counter-attack abilities and of course mastered Ultra Instinct as we've come to know it, or as I prefer, complete Ultra Instinct. Now there's not a lot to go on in terms of where Ultra Instinct lies in comparison to Beerus, except for in the Jump magazine produced by Shueisha Studios, who owned Dragon Ball alongside Akira Toriyama. In the Jump magazine preview for episode 129, it used a picture of Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3. However, it was referring to Mastered Ultra Instinct, the silver hair iteration of Ultra Instinct, complete Ultra Instinct, perfected Ultra Instinct. Now, I used to advocate that it was Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 due to the use of the image, but Ultra Instinct was unveiled at the end of episode 129, and I now believe it is Mastered Ultra Instinct, and there is something else to support that. Not only have well-known credible translators told us that it was referring to Mastered Ultra Instinct, there's also this excerpt. A particular Jump article states that this is a power that surpasses even God of Destruction, captioned to Whis, hinted at during Whis' training, obviously being Ultra Instinct. It is a realm even the gods cannot reach. So what this is saying is that it's actually Ultra Instinct that surpasses the state of God of Destruction, not Ultra Instinct Omen. However, if you scroll down, it also refers to Jiren as the mightiest foe in DB history. Is that including Beerus? I would have thought so. Is it including BROLY from the Dragon Ball Super BROLY movie? Of course not. The BROLY movie hadn't happened yet. However, there was another scan in the Jump magazine referring to Jiren, but this time it actually said that he matched the power of a God of Destruction and not surpassed the power of a God of Destruction or state of the God of Destruction's power, which I guess fits more in line with what the manga was trying to reciprocate. So that gives you Shueisha's take on Jiren, and then of course there's what Toei has to say about it, the producers of the anime. On the Toei website, they concur with what Shueisha said, where it states that Jiren's true power is said to be at the level of the gods of Destructions. However, there is another piece of information that also says that Jiren's power exceeds the God of Destructions. This was a poster containing the history of Dragon Ball before the Dragon Ball Super BROLY movie. Like I said, it says Jiren's power exceeds the God of Destructions. Was it talking about his limit breaker state, his awakened state, or was it talking about his full power state in his base form? Once again, guys, I'm not really giving my opinion on this, I'm just putting all these sources to you, all official sources. It's up to you how much weight you think these sources have, whether it correlates to what you saw in the manga. Let me know down below, but there's more, because Dragon Ball Super would continue after the Tournament of Power with the Dragon Ball Super BROLY movie, and of course we even got to see images of Jiren and the characters from the Tournament of Power in the Dragon Ball Super BROLY movie. And through many of the promotions and guides, BROLY has been stated multiple times to be the strongest. This article here, it states, "I've never seen such an amazing opponent, so strong, beaten up by the strongest ever BROLY." Remember, they've already faced Jiren in the Tournament of Power. And there's this article here, all legitimate sources. The strongest enemy in history appears in the first DBS movie, BROLY Shakes the World. Then of course there's this article from the Sakyo Jump magazine. Frankly, the enemy Goku and Co are up against in the movie is the strongest. Those who trust Goku will win may lose confidence, so be careful. They also ask, destructive power greater than a God of Destruction? As we know at the end of the movie, Goku says that Broly's power might have surpassed even Beerus, the God of Destruction of Universe 7, one of the more powerful Gods of Destructions. Remember, it wasn't matched a God of Destruction, it was might have surpassed, so he has at least matched Beerus in terms of power. Does Goku know what Beerus' power level is? Once again, Goku is just a tool of the author to advocate his story. Then there's also this that states the strongest enemy invades Earth. And of course, there's the Dragon Ball Super BROLY light novels, published by Jump Comics, where Frieza states, "Fantastic, what incredible battle power. There was no mistaking it. No being in existence could defeat Broly as he was, having been beaten this far himself. To Frieza, that much was clear. Frieza was in the Tournament of Power, he fought against Jiren in his golden state and got slapped, but he still fought against Jiren, he still felt Jiren's power. He witnessed the fight between Ultra Instinct Goku and Awakened Jiren, and then of course, he somewhat faced up against Awakened Jiren in episode 131, albeit a heavily fatigued Jiren. But a lot of people use the fact that Jiren walloped Golden Frieza in just a few hits, whereas Broly seemed to be beating up Frieza for an hour. This was also in the Dragon Ball Super BROLY light novels. Sunk into a cliff face cratered by the force of Broly's attack, a strange smile broke across Frieza's face. Fantastic. What incredible battle power! Despite receiving a beating more vicious than any before, it seemed Frieza still had plans to use BROLY. It was also explained in the Dragon Ball Super BROLY light novels that BROLY realised Frieza had lost all of his power and couldn't really fight back, so he took it easy on Frieza. And you also have to consider that in the Tournament of Power, Frieza had just been absolutely murked by God of Destruction Toppo. Now, some questions you might want to raise about this particular piece. Is he talking in context of Universe 7 alone and the beings within Universe 7? And obviously, is he referring to the likes of Whis, the Grand Priest, and Zeno, who I think it's blatantly obvious Broly wouldn't stand a chance against. In fact, it was proven he wouldn't stand a chance against Whis because Whis was literally rope-a-doping him in the movie. But then you've also got to consider other things. The likes of the Angels, the Grand Priest, and Zeno aren't necessarily beings from Frieza's reality. They are from a world beyond the natural 3- and 4-dimensional constructs of the multiverse. They don't exist in the same capacity as mortals or even the gods of destructions, who are basically mortals assigned to be gods. Or you could consider the fact that it is possible that Frieza just doesn't know how powerful Whis is. All valid questions, and I want you guys to give your answer or your perspective on that down in the comment section. But another thing that must be made clear is this particular beating Frieza received was by Super Saiyan Broly and not Super Saiyan Full Power Broly, who fought against Gogeta, who was far more powerful than the Broly Frieza faced. Toyotaro has also come out and gone on record saying Broly's the strongest, as well as voice actors from the cast of the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie stating that Broly is the strongest. You can find the video on YouTube. And then in the trailer for Gogeta fighting against Broly, it was called The Mightiest vs. the Mightiest. It certainly seems to be keeping up with the trend of the new antagonist being stronger than the previous antagonist. However, there are people who still question all this information, and rightly so. You should question everything, because in the Tournament of Power, Complete Ultra Instinct Goku did fight against Jiren. He did wallop Jiren at full power to begin with, but Jiren awakened his hidden state, what people like to call Limit Breaker Jiren, and Jiren actually initially defeated even Complete Ultra Instinct Goku until Goku powered up some more. So if Complete Ultra Instinct was what surpassed the state of Gods of Destructions, or the strongest God of Destruction, then Awakened Jiren certainly surpassed it if he hadn't already. The Jiren with his awakened state was incredibly strong. Could he have been stronger than Broly? What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comment section. It certainly seems like the wider franchise is trying to advocate that Broly is the strongest up till now. Of course, Awakened Jiren is a thing of the past, at least the version we saw in the Tournament of Power. Of course, next time we see Jiren in this series, he will be a lot stronger than what he was in the Tournament of Power. That's just the natural way of Dragon Ball. Once again, guys, it's up to you to decide how much weight each of these sources holds in terms of your power scaling methods. But there is a little bit more. Now we're going to go on to third-party official sources, for example Bandai Namco, and how they see the franchise. Of course, in Dragon Ball FighterZ, Jiren calls Beerus pathetic in the victory scene. Of course, that is a vague statement and it might mean a multitude of things and not necessarily relate to power. But then there's also his scene with Vegito Blue where he calls fusion nonsense. But is this necessarily relating to power as well? Because as we know, Jiren commended Vegeta for achieving a certain power on his own after Vegeta beat God of Destruction Toppo with Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. What do you guys think Jiren's referring to there? But of course, Vegito Blue's response to Jiren is to make him get serious. We know that in the manga of Dragon Ball Super, Vegito Blue's power whilst using a final Kamehameha, two techniques, the Final Flash and the Kamehameha, two power amping techniques used by Vegeta and Goku, concocted into one singular attack, had surpassed Beerus, not just matched Beerus' power level. According to Shin, the same guy who stated that Jiren had surpassed Merge Zamasu in power. So if you say Shin's an unreliable character, you've got to show the same energy. Shin said that power surpassed Beerus' full power. Once again, not matched it, surpassed it. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, Vegito seems to be mocking Jiren. Of course, that's just a game and you might not think a game holds much weight in terms of being a reliable source, but games isn't all Bandai does. Of course, it produces Dragon Ball Heroes as well. The Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime has just introduced Jiren. Of course, Broly is not in the Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime, so it's hard to make a direct comparison, but many people feel, and obviously let me know your thoughts on this, many people feel that Kumba is Dragon Ball Heroes iteration of Broly. Kumba told Jiren that Jiren and him were equal in bases, then Kumba turned Super Saiyan 3 full power and said that Jiren didn't stand a chance. However, what we saw defied what Kumba said, and Jiren seemed to somewhat knock Kumba back. Now, it's up to you whether you think that small sequence of events depicts a certain character's power level. I preach to you that there's been many instances in Dragon Ball where the weaker characters landed multiple blows on a stronger opponent before they've ultimately been defeated. But what do you guys think on that? Did Jiren demonstrate in his base that he was stronger than Super Saiyan 3 full power Kumba? However, the games of Dragon Ball Heroes seems to imply that Kumba is stronger. We see Jiren in his awakened state, his limit break state, his full power state, looking beaten up in the arcade game of Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Does this give us an idea on how Dragon Ball Heroes sees those two characters in relation to each other? And you could argue supports the narrative driven in episode 9 of Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Of course, the Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime is subsidiary for the Super Dragon Ball Heroes card game, arcade game I guess you could say, and the cards that you get for the arcade game also depict Super Saiyan 3 full power Kumba being much stronger than Awakened Jiren. Whilst Awakened Jiren has a power stat of 7,000, Super Saiyan 3 full power Kumba has a power stat of 9,000. Now obviously they're small numbers that don't represent their actual power level, but that is quite a big difference on these cards. In fact, Awakened Jiren is closer in power to God of Destruction Toppo than he is to Kumba. Now these cards for Jiren and Kumba are part of the same set. Neither of them are shinies, and you will find shiny cards that have exponentially higher powers because they're shiny cards, as most card games go. But ultimately, these two cards face off against each other in the latest iteration of the game, and comparatively, Kumba's a lot stronger. However, Bandai Namco don't just produce the Dragon Ball games and Dragon Ball Heroes. They produce many things, and they also produce these stickers that go with the wafers, and these are produced by Bandai, but they also have the Dragon Ball Super logo on, so they are produced for Dragon Ball Super, and it is also the anime version of Dragon Ball Super because many of the forms you see in these wafer cards are from the show. Now maybe you don't consider anything from Bandai Namco to hold much weight, but if you do consider things from Bandai Namco such as the games and Dragon Ball Heroes to hold weight, then these stickers actually hold just as much weight as those because they are also produced by Bandai and they have the Bandai logo and the Dragon Ball Super logo plastered on the front of their packets. You could argue that they hold more weight than Dragon Ball Heroes in the games because they are directly made for Dragon Ball Super. Now incidentally, these stickers have the power of the characters on these cards. Of course, they're not actual power levels, but they are power levels given to you by Bandai Namco and give you a broader sense of what the entire franchise thinks. And Jiren has a power of 9,500. You can see on the sticker that that's his awakened aura, not his normal aura. Ultra Instinct Goku has a power of 9,600. Super Saiyan full power Broly also has a power of 9,600, and Gogeta Blue has a power of 9,700. So these cards, the makers of these cards, seem to believe that Ultra Instinct Goku in terms of power is on par with Super Saiyan full power Broly, and that Gogeta Blue is stronger than them all. But ultimately, Broly is stronger than Jiren according to these cards. Once again, maybe you feel these hold no weight in terms of the relevance to the actual show itself. That's up to you. Remember, I'm just putting everything on the plate here for you to dissect. But ultimately, given all this information that I presented to you, do you believe that Jiren is starting to become the old Broly and starting to become, well, overrated considering all the information we've been provided on him? Or do you believe he is well worth the hype and that is even stronger than the new Broly? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I really look forward to reading some of your answers. I'm hoping I can get some different perspectives on this certain topic. I am proud to say that I have one of the smartest fan bases in this community on YouTube. Please do keep commenting down below, keep smashing that like button, keep lending the Daishenkin your energy, hit that subscribe button and the bell button next to it. I do expect an official announcement of Dragon Ball Super very soon. Keep an eye out for it and make sure you're subscribed. Until next time, Ad Astra.